There are people all around. There's conversation, there's presence, there's noise. But this person still feels lonely. They may smile, they may interact, they might even pretend. But deep down, no one there fills the void. Because there's an absence that weighs heavy, a loss that can't be explained, a specific silence that only existed after you left. You have no idea what you caused. Or maybe you do. But this person, sir, carries it in silence. They live on autopilot. They go through the motions. They do what needs to be done. But there are moments of the day when their chest tightens for no reason. There are days when their body is present, but their soul lingers far behind, back to where you used to be. And nothing else feels whole. Nothing else fits. Nothing else reaches them. Because when you were nearby, things were colorful. They made sense. There was peace. Now, this person lives surrounded, but feels cold inside. Yes, they have company, but they don't have you. And no one understands what that means. No one notices what was lost. Because those who look from the outside think they've moved on. Think everything is fine, but this person has only learned to pretend. They've only learned to smile with their lips, when inside they're in ruins. Sometimes they look around and think, why can't anyone here touch me the way he did? Why even with so many people do I feel invisible? It's because there are bonds that don't repeat. There are presences that cannot be replaced. There are affections that, once taken away, carry off a part of the soul of those who remain. And now, this person is here, whole on the outside, in pieces on the inside. And all of this is because of someone who might not even realize how much they are missed. Have you ever been that absence? Have you ever been the only company that truly mattered to someone? There are people who live surrounded by people, by voices, by noise, by notifications, by physical presence. But there exists a kind of emptiness that has no shape, no name, and almost never has the courage to be spoken. This person carries that every day, without anyone noticing. It's the kind of loneliness that no one sees, because she still laughs, she still gets ready, she still says, "I'm fine," when asked. But you who have been close, you who have known the silences, you who recognize her true tone when she is at peace, would know right away. You would notice it in her gaze. You would see it in the way she holds her phone and doesn't text, in how she arrives at places, looking for something that's no longer there, in the extra time it takes her to get out of bed. You would notice the emptiness that now fills the space where you used to be. This person feels, even if she doesn't speak, even if she has decided to move on, even if she pretends she has already gotten over it, because there are absences that don't fade. There are presences that can't be replaced, and no matter how much life brings new connections, no matter how many other people try to fill the void left behind, what was you remains untouched. You might think it was just another exchange, just another story, just another companionship, but this person remembers the details, the sound of your laughter, the way you would play with your hair, the pauses before you replied, the silences that weren't empty, but full of presence. She remembers things you've already forgotten, or pretend to forget. And the cruelest part of it all is that no one sees, no one notices, because there are no marks, no recent photos, no name written on her forehead. There's just a heart operating in silence, just a thought that, from time to time, still asks, do you feel the same? Did you realize you took a piece of her when you left? But no one answers, and life goes on, and she gets good at pretending, good at filling her time with distractions, good at seeming strong, good at acting like other company is enough. But deep down, only she knows the hole that's left. Do you think she's forgotten? Think she's moved on? Think she's healed? You have no idea. There are nights when she freezes. There are days when longing hits with a force that unravels everything. There are places that she avoids passing by. There are songs that she can no longer listen to. There are scents that still trigger memories. And no, this isn't weakness. This is unresolved love. It's an unfinished goodbye. It's a bond that remained alive even after the departure. And the most painful part, it's invisible. Those who live with her today have no idea. Those who see her smiling don't realize. Those who hear her telling jokes Don't hear the scream behind her voice, but you would know, you would notice from a distance. Because it was with you that she felt whole. It was with you that her eyes sparkled for no reason. It was in your silence that she found peace. Now everything has become technical, cold, automatic. She has become good at pretending to be alive, but she lost her soul in the process. This person who feels so much didn't ask to feel. She didn't want to carry all of this. She didn't want to live with this absence. But she feels, even against her will, even while trying to forget, even while wishing to move on. And it doesn't matter how many people are around. Nothing fills the void that was you. Life has moved on. But her heart stayed where you were. She tries to move forward, but she steps on shards every day, and no one sees, because the world demands performance. And she learned to perform, but deep inside, she just wanted to go back to the time when you stayed. Have you ever been that for someone? Have you ever been the only presence that made everything make sense? Have you ever left someone functioning on the outside, but emotionally vacant on the inside? If so, feel this text. Read it again. Realize what you caused, or what was caused to you. Because maybe this person is you. Maybe you are reading this and feeling that deep down no one understood your absence yet. Maybe no one has noticed that you didn't come back whole after losing the one who made you feel good. Have you been through this? This love exists, and it's what keeps this person stuck in a time that won't return. She continues living, yes, but she is no longer the same. She doesn't feel the same way. She doesn't give herself with the same freedom. Because when she truly opens up and loses, something inside hardens. It shuts down. It protects itself. She no longer shows everything. She no longer trusts as much. She no longer hopes as much. Because now she knows that presence isn't a guarantee. She knows that bonds can crumble even without a fight. She knows that someone can look into her eyes for months and still leave. So she goes, but only halfway. She loves, but with limits. She speaks, but keeps the essential to herself. And everyone thinks she's just reserved, just more closed off, just discreet. But that's not it. She is someone who loved, lost, and is still trying to breathe normally again. She just doesn't share, because not everyone deserves to know. You who are reading this, maybe you understand, maybe you've lived it, maybe you're feeling this right now without being able to name it. If that's you, then listen. It's not a weakness to miss someone who did you good. It's not immaturity to want something that won't come back. And it's not an exaggeration to carry a pain that others don't see. This is called emotional memory. This is called attachment to what was real. This is your body trying to understand why it lost what seemed certain. And the deepest part of all of this is that no one can live this absence in your place. Only you know the intensity of what you experienced. Only you know how much you gave of yourself. Only you feel the specific absence of that connection that doesn't repeat. Because yes, there are good people in the world. There are new stories. There are new beginnings. But nothing replaces what was lived with truth. Nothing completely silences the memory of a touch that calmed, of a gaze that pierced through, of a conversation that wasn't noise. It was home. And that's why even when surrounded, this person still feels alone. Because it's not about having company. It's about being understood. And when you lose someone who knew how to see you effortlessly, you don't just miss the person. You miss yourself. The version of you that existed when you were seen with truth, of the lightness you had before you toughened up, of the security you felt when you knew someone truly saw you. This absence isn't just about losing someone, it's about losing a part of yourself that only existed when that person was nearby. That's what no one understands. But you feel it, even if you don't say anything, even if you keep smiling, even if you post photos. On the inside, there's a space that has turned dark, cold, silent, and only a specific presence could light it up again. That person is still there, walking beside you, or distant, but feeling. Do you feel that too? There are pains we can't explain, only share, and there's more, so much more, because what lingered between you wasn't fully expressed. It didn't end clearly. It wasn't wrapped up in peace. It stayed in the subtext, in the silences, in the interrupted gestures. It lingered in small spaces, in "we'll talk later," in "take care," in "look after yourself," that hid everything that wasn't said out of fear. And now this person is constantly wondering, did you feel the same way? Was it all just her? Do you think about her sometimes as she thinks about you? Maybe yes, maybe no. But the absence that remains, that is real. It's not an invention. It's not drama. She feels it in her bones even when no one sees. There are scents that still trigger memories. There's a touch that isn't repeated. There's a hug that even if tight doesn't reach. Because some affections are unique. Some presences can't be replaced. Some stories, even deleted from the phone, remain alive in the body. And this doesn't just fade with time. It passes when it's embraced. It passes when it's faced with truth. It passes when it's accepted as part of the journey, and not as a weakness to be overcome. This person who misses you doesn't need advice, doesn't need promises, doesn't need to hear that it'll pass. She just wanted to be seen, on the inside, in depth, without hurry. She wanted someone to see what she has grown tired of hiding. I wish someone would say, "I know what you're feeling and I'm not going anywhere." But almost no one stays. Almost no one has the courage to cross over the pain of another. Almost no one can bear a soul in its raw state. And so she goes on, alone, even when surrounded. It works in the world, but she no longer lives inside herself. And if you knew this, if you had any idea of the silent loneliness she carries, would you have stayed a bit longer? Would you have listened more attentively? Would you have stayed without rushing to leave? Or were you too hurt to notice the pain of another? Because sometimes the one who leaves is hurting too. Sometimes the one who walks away doesn't realize they're leaving an irreparable void. And then both lose, and both pretend they're okay, and both carry on, filled with unspoken absences. Do you feel this now? Or are you that absence that someone still feels today? Comment here. I left, but a part of me stayed. Or write, that person is me. Because maybe it is. Maybe you're not reading this by chance. Maybe it's time to see yourself, for the first time without a filter. And there's still more to say, there's more to reveal, there's more truth waiting to come out. But maybe it doesn't need to now, because anyone who has read this far has already felt, has already been touched, has already recognized deep in their soul that this is not just a text, it's living memory. It's a sensation etched in the body. It's silence that now has sound. Because there are stories we don't tell out loud. There are wounds that were stitched up in silence. There are people we haven't forgotten. We just learned not to mention. But they're still here, in the heart, in the subconscious, in the involuntary longing, in the thought that insists on returning. Even when you swear you've moved on, the truth is there's someone inside you who's still waiting for something that has no name, who still checks their phone before sleeping, not exactly knowing what they wanted to find. That person didn't leave, they're alive inside you, more dormant, silent. Reading all this now is like she woke up for a moment to say, I'm still here, you still feel. And it's okay to feel. It's okay to hurt. It's okay not to have moved on. You don't need to justify your longing. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Your pain is yours, it belongs to you. And what you experience deeply doesn't just dissolve with time. People like to say it will pass eventually. But there are things that don't pass, they transform, they quiet down. They settle in a discreet corner of the soul, but they're still there. And sometimes, all you need is an unexpected reminder to feel everything again. A song, a scent, a phrase, and your chest tightens and the world slows down. And you return to that place where everything still made sense. This is the kind of longing that doesn't need permission to enter. It simply comes. It passes through you. And it reminds you that feeling is still what keeps you alive. You may have moved on, you may be surrounded by new people, you might even be trying to love again. But there's a specific space with a specific name that no one else has been able to fill. And that's okay, because some absences aren't meant to be replaced, they are meant to be honored. If this person was important to you, don't erase it. Don't hide it. Don't pretend. Remember with truth. Feel with depth, and move forward with integrity. Because those who feel deeply are the ones who have lived fully. And you have lived, that's why it hurts, that's why it remains. And this pain makes you human. It reminds you that despite everything, you are still capable of caring. Now listen closely. This person still misses you, even if they don't say it. Even if they're trying to disguise it. Even if the world thinks they've moved on. There's a space within them that still resonates with your name. There's a memory that still burns. There's a part that still believes that one day, maybe you'll come back. And if you don't come back, they will continue. But it will never be the same because you were more than just a presence, you were meaning. You were understood silence, you were home. And home, when lost, leaves a longing even in the body. If this resonated with you, hit the like button on this video now. Not for the number, but so I know you felt it. So I know you're here, experiencing this, with honesty. Comment down below, that person is me, or write, I needed to hear this. If you've ever been that absence for someone, or if you currently feel the weight of someone who's gone, let it out. Name your pain, no need to explain. Just write, in your own way, at your own pace. Share this video with someone who needs to hear what you can't express. Sometimes others just need that, a message that speaks for you. That says with words what the soul has yet to organize. And if this kind of truth stirs something in you, if what's inside you resonates with this, then subscribe to the channel now. There's no shallow content here. There are no ready-made phrases. This is for those who feel, for those who think, for those who love deeply, and also suffer in silence. Turn on the notification bell, stay close, because the next videos is going to turn you inside out.